What if I told you that a simple Walmart employee in Alabama, a 23-year-old black man named Marcus, was handcuffed while closing his register without committing any crime? What if I told you that the police refused to listen to his explanation until a mysterious woman, known in the underworld as the Italian Mafia Queen, walked into the store asking for him by name? And from that moment, everything changed. What would you do if you discovered that someone the world fears decided to protect you? Comment below, what do you think she wanted with Marcus? Marcus Johnson's hands moved with mechanical precision across the register keys. 23 years old, closing shift at Walmart in Montgomery, Alabama, register 14. The busiest one in the store. Last day of the month meant chaos. Lines that stretched to the produce section, screaming kids, impatient customers, and Rick, the night manager, breathing down everyone's neck. But Marcus never complained. He showed up, did his job, kept his head down. That's what his grandmother taught him. Work twice as hard, stay twice as humble. 10:57 p.m., final transaction complete. Marcus pulled the cash drawer and began the manual count. 20s, 10s, 5s, 1s, everything organized in neat stacks. He'd done this 100 times, never been a penny short, not once. From the corner of his eye, he saw Rick watching him. The manager stood 20 feet away, arms crossed, phone pressed to his ear. Their eyes met briefly. Rick looked away first. Something felt wrong. Marcus shook off the feeling and continued counting. The store was emptying out. Fluorescent lights buzzed overhead. The night cleaning crew rolled their equipment past the registers. Marcus Johnson. He looked up. 3 police officers stood in front of his register, full uniforms, hands on their belts, dead serious expressions. Marcus's stomach dropped. "That's me. Can I help you, officers?" "Step away from the register." The lead officer, a sergeant with gray temples, pointed to the side. "Now, I'm just closing out. I can show you." "I said step away." Rick appeared beside the officers. "That's him. Check the register. I got an anonymous tip. He's been skimming money." Marcus's heart hammered. "What? That's not true. I've never—" "Hands where I can see them." The sergeant's voice cut through the air like a blade. "I didn't do anything." Marcus raised his hands slowly. His voice cracked. "Rick, tell them. My drawer is always perfect. Always." Rick shrugged. The tip was very specific. Register 14, tonight's shift. The other customers stopped to watch. Phones came out. A woman near the exit started recording. "Turn around," the sergeant ordered. "Can I at least explain?" "Turn around." Marcus turned. Cold metal clamped around his wrists. The click of handcuffs echoed through the store. His co-workers froze at their registers. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. "Check the drawer," the sergeant said to Rick. Rick counted quickly. His face fell. It's all here. Every cent." "Check it again," Rick recounted. Same result. He looked at the sergeant, confused. "There's nothing missing." The sergeant grabbed Marcus's arm. "We're taking him in for questioning anyway. Anonymous tips don't come from nowhere." "But the money's all there." Marcus's voice rose. "What am I being arrested for? You know what you did." "I don't. I swear I don't." Rick leaned close as they passed. His whisper was poison. "I knew I'd get you eventually." The automatic doors opened. Night air hit Marcus's face. 3 patrol cars waited outside, lights flashing red and blue across the parking lot. He'd done nothing wrong, not one single thing, but nobody cared. The sergeant pushed him toward the nearest car. Marcus stumbled, his vision blurred with tears he refused to let fall. Then someone behind them spoke. "Where is Marcus Johnson?" The voice was calm, steady, absolute. Everyone froze. The automatic doors opened again, and everything changed. The woman stood in the doorway, 60 years old, perfectly tailored black coat, silver hair pulled back tight, eyes that could freeze fire. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't need to. "Where is Marcus Johnson? He's here." The sergeant turned, still gripping Marcus's arm. "Ma'am, this is police business. Step aside." She didn't move. "I asked a question." Her accent was subtle but unmistakable. Italian, old world. "Where is Marcus Johnson?" Rick stepped forward, trying to sound authoritative. "Ma'am, we can't give out employee information. You'll have to—" "I didn't ask you." She cut him off without looking at him. Her eyes stayed locked on the sergeant. "I'm telling you, where is Marcus Johnson?" A customer near the pharmacy aisle gasped. "Oh my God, that's her!" Another whispered, "Carmela Romano, the Italian Mafia Queen." The words rippled through the store like wildfire. The sergeant's face went pale. He knew that name. Everyone in Alabama law enforcement knew that name. Carmela Romano, the woman who ran half the port operations from New Orleans to Miami. The woman senators called before passing legislation. The woman who made billionaires nervous. And she was here in a Montgomery Walmart at 11 p.m. asking for Marcus Johnson. "Ma'am, The sergeant's voice wavered. "This man is under investigation for—" "Release him." 2 words, soft as silk, hard as steel. "I can't do that. There's been a complaint. An anonymous complaint." Carmela walked closer. Her heels clicked on the linoleum floor. "From a manager who's been embezzling for 6 months. Rick Donovan, 42 years old, divorced. 3 months behind on child support. Gambling debts in Biloxi totaling $37,000. Rick's face went white as chalk. "How do you—" he stammered. Carmela ignored him. She stopped directly in front of the sergeant. "The register is perfect. You checked it yourself. So tell me, Sergeant Williams, what exactly is the charge?" The sergeant's jaw tightened. "How do you know my name?" "I know many things." She glanced at Marcus, still handcuffed. Her expression softened for just a moment. "I know that boy saved my granddaughter's life 14 years ago. I know he's worked here for 3 years without a single complaint. I know his grandmother raised him alone after his parents died, and I know you're making the biggest mistake of your career right now." Marcus stared at her, confused. I don't understand. Who are you?" "Someone who pays her debts, Marcus." Carmela turned back to the sergeant. "Now, release him, or I make one phone call, and by tomorrow morning you'll be directing traffic in a town so small it doesn't have a stoplight." The sergeant hesitated. His hand trembled on Marcus's arm. "You're threatening a police officer," he said, but his voice had no strength. "I'm saving you from yourself." Carmela pulled out her phone. "Your captain's number is saved right here. Want me to tell him how you arrested an innocent man based on a tip from a thief? How you ignored evidence? How you handcuffed a kid in front of cameras?" She gestured to the customers filming everything. The sergeant looked at the phones, at Carmela, at Marcus. He removed the handcuffs. Marcus rubbed his wrists, breathing hard. "I don't understand what's happening." "You will." Carmela placed a hand on his shoulder. "But first, we handle the man who tried to destroy you." She turned to Rick. "Now, Mr. Donovan, let's talk about what you've been stealing from this store for the past 6 months. Shall we do it here, or would you prefer the police station?" Rick backed away. "I didn't steal anything. This is insane." "Register 7, Tuesday nights. You've been shorting the deposit by $200 each week. $12,000 total. I have the security footage, all of it." Rick's legs nearly gave out. The sergeant looked at him with new eyes. "Is this true?" "I want my lawyer," Rick whispered. Carmela smiled. It wasn't a kind smile. "You'll need one." The police led Rick away in handcuffs. The same doors, the same walk of shame. Customers filmed every second. Marcus stood frozen, trying to process what just happened. Carmela touched his arm gently. "Come, sit with me." She guided him to the bench near the store entrance. The one where employees took their breaks, where Marcus had eaten lunch 1,000 times, but tonight everything felt different. "I don't understand," Marcus said quietly. "You said I saved your granddaughter, but I've never met you. I would remember." "You were 9 years old." Carmela sat beside him. "Oak Park. Do you remember that day?" Marcus's breath caught. Oak Park. He remembered. He'd been playing alone near the swings. His grandmother was on a bench nearby, reading her Bible. Summer afternoon. Hot. The park mostly empty. Then he heard crying. A little girl, maybe 5 years old, long, dark hair, pink dress. She was walking away from the playground, following a man Marcus didn't recognize. The girl kept looking back, tears streaming down her face. Something felt wrong. Marcus ran over. "Hey, are you okay?" The man grabbed the girl's hand tighter. "Mind your business, kid." "She's crying." "Why is she crying?" "She's my daughter. Go away." But the girl shook her head frantically. "Not my daddy! Not my daddy!" Marcus didn't think. He just screamed, "Grandma! Grandma! Help!" His grandmother came running. Other adults looked over. The man panicked and ran, leaving the girl behind. Police came. The girl was reunited with her frantic mother and grandmother. The grandmother had knelt down, held Marcus's face in her hands, and said something in Italian he didn't understand. But her eyes said everything. Then they were gone. Marcus never saw them again. Until tonight. "Sophia," Carmela said softly. "That was my granddaughter's name. That man was a rival family trying to hurt me through her. You stopped them. A 9-year-old boy with more courage than grown men." Marcus wiped his eyes. I heard her crying. I couldn't walk away. Most people would have. Most people did." Carmela's voice hardened. "I watched you from that day forward, Marcus. I made sure you were safe. I paid for your grandmother's medical bills when she got sick. Anonymously, I made sure you had what you needed." "That was you?" Marcus stared. "The checks that came. Grandma thought it was the church. It was me." Carmela looked at him directly. "I owe you a debt that money cannot repay. You gave me back my family. So when I learned tonight that you were being arrested, falsely accused, humiliated," her jaw clenched. "I came immediately." Marcus shook his head, overwhelmed. "You didn't have to do all this. You don't owe me anything." "I owe you everything." Carmela stood. "And now I'm going to make sure you get what you deserve. Not charity, justice." The store manager appeared, nervous and sweating. "Mrs. Romano, the regional director, is on the phone. He wants to tell him I want Marcus compensated, fully, publicly. And I want a formal apology issued by tomorrow morning. If he refuses, I pull my family's investments from every Walmart supply contract we have. All of them." The manager's face went white. I'll tell him." Carmela turned back to Marcus. "You've spent 3 years in this store being invisible, being overlooked, working twice as hard for half the recognition. That ends tonight." "I just want my job back," Marcus said. "You'll have much more than that." Carmela extended her hand. "You saved my family once. Now let me help yours." Marcus hesitated, then took her hand. Outside, the police cars were leaving. Rick sat in the back of one, head down, finished. And Marcus Johnson, who'd started the night expecting to close a register and go home, stood beside the most powerful woman in the South. His life would never be the same. 3 days passed. Marcus stayed home. His phone exploded with messages. The video of his arrest had gone viral. 10 million views, 20 million. Comments flooded in. "This is why we need cameras everywhere. That manager should be in prison. Who is that woman who saved him?" But Marcus barely looked at his phone. He sat in his grandmother's old chair, staring at nothing, trying to understand how his life had turned upside down in one night. Then his doorbell rang. Marcus opened it. A man in an expensive suit stood there, holding a briefcase. "Marcus Johnson?" "Yes?" "I'm David Chen, corporate attorney for Walmart. May I come in?" Marcus let him inside. His small apartment suddenly felt even smaller with this lawyer standing in it. Chen opened his briefcase. "Mr. Johnson, Walmart would like to offer you a formal settlement. We've completed our internal investigation of Rick Donovan. He's been arrested for embezzlement. The evidence Mrs. Romano provided was extensive. How much did he steal?" "Over $40,000 across 6 months. He used your register for the anonymous complaint because you were the only employee who never made mistakes. He thought you'd be an easy target." Chen pulled out documents. "Walmart is offering you $2 million in compensation for wrongful termination, emotional distress, and reputational damage." Marcus couldn't breathe. "2 million? Mrs. Romano's legal team suggested 3. We settled on 2. Chen placed the papers on the coffee table. "We'll also issue a public apology, national press release. Your record completely cleared. And if you choose to return to work, you'll be promoted to assistant manager at any location you prefer. I need time to think." "Of course." Chen stood. "Mrs. Romano wanted me to give you this as well." He handed Marcus an envelope. Marcus waited until Chen left. Then he opened it. Inside was a handwritten note on thick, expensive paper. "Marcus, money doesn't erase what they did to you. But it's a start. Meet me tomorrow at 2 p.m., address below. I have a proposition. You earned more than a settlement. You earned a future." Carmela Marcus arrived at the address the next day, a beautiful building downtown. Romano Foundation for Community Justice, carved into the stone entrance. Carmela met him in her office, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Artwork worth more than his settlement on the walls. "Sit, Marcus," he sat. "Walmart paid you," Carmela said. "Good. That's what you were owed. But now I want to offer you something different. A position, Director of Community Outreach for my foundation." Marcus blinked. "I don't have a degree. I barely finished community college. You have something better. You understand what it means to be invisible, to be accused, to be judged before you open your mouth." Carmela leaned forward. "This foundation helps people like you, people the system has failed. I need someone who's lived it, not someone who studied it." "What would I do?" "You'd run programs for young men facing the same prejudice you faced. You'd work with police departments to reform training. You'd speak publicly about your experience. You'd help me build something that matters." Marcus's throat tightened. "Why me?" "Because 14 years ago, you didn't walk away from a crying child. You didn't think about the cost. You didn't calculate the risk. You just did what was right." Carmela's eyes softened. "The world needs more people like you in positions of power, Marcus, not fewer." "I don't know anything about running programs. You'll learn, I'll teach you. My team will support you. But the heart of this work, the understanding, you already have that." Marcus looked out the window, the same city where he'd been handcuffed 3 days ago, where he'd been humiliated, filmed, judged. Now he was sitting in a penthouse office, being offered a chance to change it. "When do I start?" he asked quietly. Carmela smiled. "Tomorrow." 6 months passed. Marcus stood at a podium in the Montgomery City Council chambers. 50 people filled the seats. Police chiefs, community leaders, activists, press cameras lined the back wall. He wore a suit now, not expensive but clean, professional. His grandmother would have been proud. "My name is Marcus Johnson," he began, his voice steady. 6 months ago, I was handcuffed in a Walmart for doing my job. Today, I'm here to present a proposal that will change how this city handles complaints against employees." He clicked to the next slide. "Body cameras for all security personnel in retail spaces, mandatory evidence review before any arrest, and a community oversight board to investigate claims of workplace discrimination." A police captain in the front row raised his hand. "Mr. Johnson, These measures would require significant funding. The Romano Foundation is providing the initial funding, Marcus said. $2 million over 3 years, no strings attached. We just want to make sure what happened to me doesn't happen to anyone else. Murmurs filled the room. The council voted. Unanimous approval. After the meeting, Marcus walked outside. The same streets where he'd worked the night shift. Where he'd been invisible. Not anymore. Carmela waited by her car. She didn't attend the meeting. She never did. "Let them see you, not me," she always said. "They passed it," Marcus told her. "I knew they would." She smiled. "You're good at this, Marcus. Better than I expected. I had a good teacher. You had courage. I just gave you a platform." Carmela handed him an envelope. "One more thing." Marcus opened it. A deed. Property title. "What is this?" "Your grandmother's house. I bought it before the bank could foreclose. It's yours now, and paid in full." Marcus's eyes filled with tears. "Carmela, I can't." "You can. You will." She touched his shoulder. "That house holds her memory, her love. You shouldn't lose it because the world was unfair." Marcus couldn't speak. He just nodded. Carmela opened her car door, then paused. "Marcus, do you know why I really helped you that night?" "Because I saved Sophia." "No." She looked at him directly. "I helped you because when you were 9 years old, you proved something most adults never learn. That doing the right thing matters more than staying safe. That protecting someone weaker than you is worth the risk. Sophia's rescue was just the moment I saw who you really were." She got in the car. "The world will try to make you cynical, Marcus. It will show you cruelty and injustice and tell you that's just how things are. Don't believe it. Keep being who you were at 9 years old. That boy changed everything." The car pulled away. Marcus stood alone on the sidewalk, holding the deed to his grandmother's house. He thought about that night at Walmart, the handcuffs, the humiliation, Rick's whispered threat. The cameras filming his lowest moment, and then Carmela walking through those doors. He'd done one good thing as a child, one moment of courage, and it saved his entire life. Marcus looked up at the city skyline. Somewhere out there, people were being judged unfairly, accused wrongly, handcuffed for crimes they didn't commit, but now he had the power to help them. He walked to his car. Not the old one that barely ran, but the reliable one Carmela had insisted he needed for community visits. His phone buzzed. A message from Sophia Romano, now 19 and studying law at Georgetown. "Saw the news. You're amazing. Come visit soon. I want to hear everything." Marcus smiled and replied, "Anytime. You started this whole thing after all." He drove toward his grandmother's house, his house now. And for the first time in years, Marcus Johnson felt like the world made sense. So here's my question for you. If you could go back to one moment in your childhood where you showed courage, knowing it might change your entire future, what would it be? Comment below.